Hey everybody, what's up? It's Potosaurus, and this time we're taking a peek at the new update for Dead by Daylight. To be honest, I really wanted to make a video of this the moment it came out, but then the update came out on the Overwatch test server, and I just had to go and test those things out. So here I am, finally able to play one of my favorite games once again. You guys may remember that I love playing the killer. I do believe that a lot of us like playing the killer. They are simply more interesting to play, and their defining characteristics can be seen right off the bat, unlike the survivors where you have to grind a little bit for blood points to actually feel their defining characteristics. And this kind of build up for the game is quite sad, since it kind of feels like you need to grind for the talents and add-ons to get to where you actually want to be, instead of mainly focusing on your skill as a player to hunt or to survive. Plus, the fact that queuing up as a killer can take forever, and in my opinion can sometimes be a huge waste of time, especially if you're doing some solo queue. But overall, good job on the improvements the behavior team has done. I'm glad to see that the survivors don't window cheese as often anymore, and killers don't camp hooks as often as well. I have yet to go over the actual tweaks that the developers have done to avoid these things from happening, but even without reading the patch notes, I can definitely feel the changes made, and it's made the game so much more fun to play. So let's get on with it. We're playing as a nurse. She basically teleports around with her skill called Blink. So she teleports around the map. It's pretty ridiculous as how far she can teleport. Her initial jump, as I like to call it, is fully charged. If it is fully charged, can actually throw you across the map, and then you're also given a small window to jump 2 more times before the fatigue seeps in, as they're calling it. And but this time you can only jump at shorter distances due to the fatigue window. You can also gain an additional third jump through add-ons and talents, as well as reduce the charge times of each teleport and reduce fatigue time, all of which should help aid you become a more formidable killer. Now, the nurse has really changed the way killers hunt, since she can easily get around, so you don't have to worry much about survivors getting off hooks, since unhooked survivors can alert you and you can simply teleport to that spot and easily track down the survivor once again. Now, I'm a huge fan of blinking abilities or teleporting abilities, so the nurse has bumped her spot to my most favorite killers list. I love abilities that increase movement. That's why in my previous videos of Dead by Daylight, I immediately fell in love with the hillbilly. And even in other games, I greatly favor characters with high mobility, such as Lucio and Tracer from Overwatch. So right now, playing as the nurse, it feels like she could be a little too overpowered, especially since I'm not even playing her with her full set of talents and add-ons. Her teleport feels too easy to use for such a powerful ability, but I don't know if that could just be me. I can't really give a legit review for it, since I haven't been on the receiving end of it yet, but simply playing as a nurse and blinking around feels too powerful. I haven't had the chance to play with the new survivor Nia, and she totally seems like the kind of character I would love to play with, since her description in itself tells you that she can move faster, she's sort of a scrapper kind of person, and who can make items last longer. She's a lot more quiet and sneaky, plus she looks like a total badass. I never really liked any of the survivors until she came around, and the only survivor I would normally play was Meg, and that was only because I liked the way she looked. By the way, it's the first day of the burn month today, which probably explains the sudden battle between Insomnia with all the changes in the seasons happening. With this month's new update, considering that it's free and you get a new killer, some new survivor cosmetics, and a new survivor, I'm starting to forgive the developers for their shortcomings. The game still has a long way to improve on matchmaking and game balances, but they're giving free stuff away as a way of saying sorry. Then I'm willing to be a little more patient with the fixes, especially since I still see a lot of campers and well, the amount of window hoppers has been reduced, but I mean that's part of the game. You will never run out of these players who break such beautifully made games. So as a guy who plays the killer a lot, I'm against killers who like to camp hooks. For for one, you get less points for it. Every time you go through the process of chasing, hitting, and hooking a survivor, you get a ton of blood points. So let's say you get 2,000 blood points for every process of chasing, hitting, and killing. And when a survivor gets off the hook, his beat-out time the next time you hook him is reduced by one stage. If you look at it as stages of being hooked, there are three stages. The first stage is where you just hang there. The second stage where it's a fight for your life against the spider thing. And then the third stage where you die a horrible death and you get sacrificed to the entity. Now going back, if you get 2,000 points every time you go through the chase, hit, and hook process, and that means that every time a survivor is unhooked, you actually get a potential of 6,000 points per survivor, plus you gain the benefit of getting better at being a killer. So if you're getting a potential of 6,000 blood points per survivor, then multiply that by 4 survivors, you can actually get a total of 24,000 points per game if you perfectly sacrifice every survivor. And even if you only get 3 out of 4 survivors, you're still getting a potential of 18,000 per match. So how is this important? Well, blood points are used to level up your character and make them stronger by unlocking talents and upgrading them, unlocking powerful add-ons and offerings that can help you be more effective in each match you play. Now, considering that it takes years to actually start a game as a killer, don't you want to make the most of each match? I mean, the queue times as a killer are just ridiculous. I don't know about you, but waiting 15 to 30 minutes in a queue as a killer seems like a big waste of time, only to get 1 or 2 kills that will amount to a measly 9,000 to 12,000 points, and that's already camping. So, and as I have mentioned in my other videos, there is a fine line between patrolling and stealthing. Patrolling or stealthing and just outright camping. You may have seen in my other videos that I patrol my hooked victims, and I never outright camp right beside them. Some talents even allow you to mask your terror presence, and it's kind of misleading to call it camping. It's setting up an ambush. A good killer would use it to near a hooked survivor to get more hits, because the hooked survivor is like a lure to other survivors, and a terror radius would scare them away. So on the other hand, a bad killer uses it to deny the unhooking in the first place and gets less points because of it. It also adds uncertainty to the game. Uncertainty breeds fear and apprehension, which is a goal of the devs. That's why they call it an asymmetrical game. So for killers who aren't Wraith, the ability to turn off your terror radius adds options. It's a tool to trick the survivors. And so anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. The developers actually have people who watch videos like these and take them in as data for future tweaks and fixes. Now, a little while back, we were talking about seasons, and this actually gets me excited for any possible updates coming in October. October, as we all know, is the month for monsters and Halloween. I'm pretty sure a lot of us are anticipating some new killers and some new Halloween-themed cosmetics for our favorite survivors. I'd be very disappointed if they didn't roll out some special event for the game. I mean, after all, it's a game based on the horrors of the supernatural hell spawns. There's no better month that expresses that than October. However, I may have some bad news for you guys. The developers have mentioned some time ago that they have no plans for Halloween, which is kind of a disappointment. But the developers have also been known to make misleading statements in the past, only to make a surprise announcement days before a set date. They like to keep us in the dark, and that's about it for this one, folks. Thank you for watching, everyone, and do like the video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. We're almost hitting that 150 subscriber milestone. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one.